Hey guys, it's your girl on Breezy. I'm back with the reaction video. So by the title, I'm reacting to the orchestrated hit on rapper Chinx. His killer attended his funeral. That's actually crazy.
Chinx Pickens Jr. was gunned down on a Queen.
The light.
I ain't gonna lie. When I heard that, and it's so crazy, I saw Chinx perform at Summer Jam, and that's how I discovered him. He performed. I want to say, when did Chinx died?
I felt something going on ribs.
I don't remember, but the year prior to him passing away, I seen him perform, and I was like, "Ooh, let me check him out." Whole time he rocked with French Montana, but that's how I really discovered him.
Whoa. The shots were so close, he jumped right on top of me. Like 2 shots that went through him, went through me too. All I heard was.
The NYPD says the alleged murderer stalked Chinx and picked the perfect location, boxed in by construction barriers with no video cameras.
This was a targeted and he was hunted.
After performing at a club Sunday morning, the hip-hop artist, part of French Montana's Coke Boys, got in his car and was not far from home when a vehicle pulled up to his Porsche and opened fire. A passenger was critically injured. Lionel was hit 15 times.
What has this last day and a half been like for you and for your kid?
Okay, see, I knew he got, I knew he was targeted and all that. I did not know he got hit 15 times. 15 times?
Pure torture. It's the hardest thing I've ever had to deal with. There's no pain that can compare to having to bury my husband and explain to my kids that their father's been murdered and he's not coming back.
Talented, man. I tell y'all, hair talented. He would have been next out of here from Queens. He would have been out of there. Y'all see how everybody be talking about Nicki and 50 Cent coming from Queens? They definitely would have been talking about Chinx. Talented.
One fun-filled night in 2015.
Even still to this day, he got albums out that just pure talent. Like
Lionel Pickens, known to the hip-hop community as Chinx, would host his last party without even knowing it. For after, he would be.
And I remember, damn, that's so crazy. I remember when he posted exactly where he was gonna be at. That's why it's kind of scary, especially for artists when they, of course, they have to promote their, where they gonna be at. They gotta promote it. You know what I'm saying? And it's sad because it's not all good eyes looking at that post.
And murdered in cold blood. It was Saturday, May 16th, 2015. Chinx was set to host a party in Brooklyn at Club Red Wolf. Before his club appearance, he spent the day enjoying the company of his wife, Janelle Pickens.
He was home with me all day the night that he went out. Sunday, Saturday, Saturday night, he had a party to go to that he was hosting.
The sun set and the night came in. They spent the early hours of the night together until a little after midnight, around 12:30 a.m., May 17th, when Chinx was about to leave to go to the event.
I'd have been like, dog, you don't know what's going to happen, but it's crazy. She was with him all day, and then he had to go work. He had to go do what he got to do.
And decided to stay in bed while he headed out. They shared a heartwarming joke about it before he said the words, "I promise I'm coming straight home. I'm not going to do anything after the club."
He came to me probably about 12:30 at night, asked me if I wanted to go. I was already tired. I told him, just go. I'll see you when you get home.
I ain't gonna lie. She would have, I don't want to think like that, but.
And I was falling asleep while I was talking to him, and he was laughing at me. And his last words was, "Oh, my baby's tired." And then he said, "You sure you don't want to go?" And I said, "No, babe, go ahead. It's all right. I'll see you when you get home." And he said, "All right, I promise I'm coming straight home. I'm not going to do anything after the club."
With that, Chinx left and went the direction of the club. At that time, he normally had his entourage with him that he could trust to watch his back, as he was not only at the time an artist in the spotlight to be the next big rapper signed to French Montana's Coke Boys label, but Chinx also had a past in the gang environment. On that particular night, his trusted people wasn't around. He had a video shoot the following day in New Jersey, and most of them lived there. So it was decided it was best for them to stay instead of traveling to the city just to go back with him the next day.
Why do you feel like members of his crew weren't with him that night?
He was like, we have a video shoot tomorrow in Jersey. Some of the guys that was rode with him all the time lived in Jersey. So they like, there's no point going back to the city. Just me and him.
I
So
mean,
instead, Chinx called
that
another.
don't make sense because if you like, well, in Brooklyn all the way to Jersey, especially at night on a Saturday night, yeah, they would have been tired. That video shoot would have been, well,
friend and
it didn't happen, but like if he did survive, you know what I'm saying?
Coke Boy affiliate,
That video.
Yemen Cheese, who agreed to come along and to not leave Chinx alone without anyone for support in the
I would have
event
hired
something happened.
security, man.
Chinx called me, wanna come out. Got a little spot in Brooklyn. He called me, yo, you coming? Ain't nobody coming with me. I'm like, damn. So I had no choice. So I went.
Little did they know, something would happen. They arrived at the club, and it was a great turnout. Chinx was on stage performing and having a grand time. The crowd was loving it. From all accounts, it was a night to remember with no animosity or negativity lingering in the atmosphere. DJ Babyface would be the one handling the music for the event that night. It was his first time, but would unknowingly be his last time with Chinx. The event was a success. At 3 a.m.
That was the
Chinx and
song.
his
That was the song I fell in love. Was give a fuck about your feelings. As soon as I heard that night I went home and I looked him up. That was my favorite song, Dope House. Then he had Hot Nigga Remix. Then I heard some more songs with him and French Montana. But feelings?
friend Yemen
Yeah, that's
decided to
my
head out.
song right there.
At that point,
And then the music.
they then decided to head to an after-hours hookah location to continue the festivities, but upon arrival, the place was closed.
We get in front of the club. I told him, tell him we won't go through the back because I want to bring my drink in. Because I don't drink alcohol, I drink blue. The energy was perfect in there. It was a good vibe. We left 3 o'clock. His security told them, let's go to our after hours spot. We get to the front of the spot was closed. Everybody was leaving out.
The next move they made would be critical to Chinx's survival.
Wait, so and it's so crazy. He told his wife, "I'm gonna come home. I'm gonna come straight home."
Because I want to bring my drink in. Because I don't drink alcohol, I drink blue. The energy was perfect in there. It was a good vibe. We left 3 o'clock. His security told them, let's go to our after hours spot. We get to the front of the spot was closed. Everybody was leaving out.
The next move they made would be critical to Chinx's survival. They decided to call it a night. Chinx said they'd go to his place where Yemen could then take a cab and get home, as it would be an easier commute. Surveillance footage from outside the hookah location shows their vehicle, a silver Porsche, leaving the area. For the next 10 to 15 minutes, they were driving, listening to Chinx's music, still high off drinking the night away. To them, it was a fun end to a hyped night.
Like, when was to take you to my crib, you could take a cab from my crib. Like that. We drove for 10, 15 minutes. Mind you, I'm high up. I'm sipping lean, I'm lit. He's lit too. We listening to his album.
Seconds later, around 4 a.m., their vehicle stopped at a red light. That's when assailants that were tailing their vehicle took their
You can't even get mad at rappers when they run red lights.
moments to strike. Gunshots
Just late
were
at night,
heard,
run that red light.
and at that point,
Yeah,
Yemen felt
run that red
something
light.
pierce into his ribs. Then he felt blood coming from his side, but had no time to react before more shots started firing into the vehicle.
We're not paying attention about nothing. He's just driving. I think he stopped at a light. And shots just went off. But I felt something go on my ribs. I felt blood and the shots was raining. Boom, 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 boom.
Chinx would jump on top of Yemen, taking the brunt of the attack, being hit upwards of 7 times, while Yemen was hit twice, one bullet puncturing his lungs.
The shots were so close, he jumped right on top of me. like 2 shots that went through him, went through me too. All I heard was.
It's almost as if he knew he wouldn't make it out alive and tried to at least save the life of his friend.
One of those bullets struck 27-year-old Antar Al-Ziadi and pierced his lung. He believes Chinx shielded him and may even have saved his life.
A drive-by passed and ambushed us and started shooting up the car. I got shot, and when I got shot, I went down and he jumped on top of me and took the rest of the shots. I got shot like 1 time. He got shot probably like 7 to 8 times.
At that point, the timer on Chinx's life was quickly ticking down. He was still alive after the attack, and with his last breath told Yemen to drive. Being in critical condition himself, he reached over to the steering wheel and was able to steer the car a short distance before hitting a parked car in front of Dunkin' Donuts as the assailant's vehicle made their escape. Using whatever strength was left, he saw police officers and rushed to them for help while he himself was slowly dying.
I looked up, nobody was there. He like, yo, get us out of here. He couldn't move, so
He was still alive.
Yeah, he was still alive. He's like, get us out of here. So I turned the wheel with one hand. When I turned the wheel, the car started moving. When I turned, I hit a parked car. When I hit the parked car, I jumped out to get some help. I see police or lights or whatever, I stopped them. I'm talking to them. They trying to ask me questions. I'm like, my friend in there is, please, I need help, take us to the hospital.
That's the thing.
Police at
Cops
the
just
scene
always
recalled
want to
Chinx
talk.
having as much as what appeared to be 15 bullet wounds, in which some may have been extra wounds. They also recovered 9mm shell casings at the scene, which they state all came from one shooter.
Investigators believe there was one gunman and are not yet sure about the getaway vehicle. But one thing is clear, with highways nearby, it was an easy escape.
We did recover 12
Yeah, like-
shell casings from the crime.
That's one thing about like New York, like, well, you can't really get away with a lot of stuff because clearly they got locked up. But there is certain areas where it's like it's like barricaded, especially like Queens, them type of areas. They got their little. Brooklyn got areas too where it's like they definitely knew what they was doing because there's areas where it's like make you want to run that red light. It makes you not want to stop in the area. Like, that's what I'm
They
saying.
were
Some
taken
people
to
ran
Jamaica
that red
Hospital
light.
Medical Center, where Lionel Pickens, aka Chinx, unfortunately, was pronounced dead on his way to the hospital. Yemen Cheese was given a 15% chance of survival and luckily pulled through his injuries.
And how close did you come to losing your life?
They said it was 85%. This was right here, right next to my heart. On around my heart, just like that.
Investigators would arrive to find a bullet-ridden vehicle with bloodstains revealing the tragedy that just occurred. Chinx's wife would awaken around 5 a.m. to find Chinx nowhere back home. Her next reaction was to call his phone, but he didn't pick up. In her mind, she brushed it off as nothing, thinking he probably went to the studio.
He promised me he was coming home, and about 5 o'clock in the morning I woke up, and when I seen he wasn't home, I started to call him. When I didn't get an answer, I didn't think the worst. As far like, maybe he went to the studio or something. That's what he usually likes to do.
Approximately
But that's
5 minutes
sad.
later, she was
It's not the fact that he told her like I'm coming straight home, but he was having such a good night. He like, let me go to the next spot. Like I feel like if he would have called her and been like, babe, I'm about to. She would have been like, nah, take your ass home.
received a phone call
Like,
from
get
his
your ass
manager
home.
informing her that detectives
But they was
home,
already still following
saying
him.
Chinx had been shot and transported to the hospital, and they want her to give them a call. The worst was still yet to sink in within her mind that maybe Chinx was gone. That would change when she gave the detectives a call, only to be told to come to the hospital, but not to come alone if she's driving. Right then and there, his wife knew that she was on her way to receive bad news, and that exactly was the case when she arrived. The hip-hop community was left in mourning, along with his family and friends, and shared their condolences for those hurting. The search was out to find out who could possibly have felt such animosity towards Chinx that they'd
Oh
hunt
my
him
god,
down.
y'all know what's so crazy? Chinx got a song with Nipsey called Hey Fool. And it's so sad. It's like they speaking to themselves about like not being here no more. And Nipsey, like, he was talking about how when he goes, he want his friends to do such and such. That song is so sad. I can't listen to it.
Ambushing and taking
But that song is so fire. If you listen to it, you need to like.
Derek
no.
Parker
If you
believed
haven't listened to it, go listen to it. Hey Fool by Chinx and Nipsey.
it was no random act, but that Chinx was set up.
This is what happened. I believe Chinx got set up. There's no doubt about that.
Time would pass, and there were no positive updates about the
That is
case.
a setup. What the hell?
Persons
That was
began
planned.
fearing the case would run cold like so many hip-hop homicides prior.
It has been nearly 6 months since Chinx's tinnitus killer is still on the loose, and now there are growing concerns his will become yet another unsolved hip-hop mystery. But it's not because the cops aren't trying.
The region had little camera footage. The perpetrators timed their attack in a blind spot where construction work was being done.
The NYPD says the alleged murderer stalked Chinx and picked a perfect location, boxed in by construction barriers with no video
There's a lot of
cameras.
areas like
That
that.
would change approximately 5 months after Chinx lost his life. According to the detectives, an aspiring rapper by the name of Quincy Homer was pulled over by the cops. They were smoking dope and arrested. The cops found a .45 caliber pistol in the vehicle. While being interviewed by detectives, Quincy would state that he knows the guys who carried out the hit on Chinx, and that would be the turning point in the case.
What helped you break it open?
Yeah, so our biggest lead happened 5 months later. Quincy Homer is pulled over by police. They were smoking. They're all arrested and they recover a .45 caliber pistol. Quincy is interviewed by detectives and he proceeds to say that he knows 2 guys at Chinx.
Detectives would set up a proffer interview
Damn, that nigga's-
for
I'm not going to
Quincy
jail
to
for
tell
no
them
reason.
everything he knows about the hit, but he never showed up to court. The reason later being found out to be because he was involved in a bank heist in November 2015 at a Wells Fargo bank in Hempstead, Long Island, and he was luckily ID'd as one of the assailants of the incident that stole $375,710.
We set up what's called a proffer interview and he's going to tell us everything he knows about Chinx. Sure enough, he doesn't show up for court, so Quincy's on the run. Turns out the reason he didn't show up for court is that they did a bank robbery in Hempstead, Long Island. Quincy is ID'd.
During the incident, Quincy bashed a bank employee in the face with an AK-47 rifle as he and others proceeded to announce a robbery. Detectives caught their big break.
Yes, this is why I
Wait,
switched
so-
to injection-free weight loss.
I was eating healthy,
Chinx died
working out every day,
2015.
and
So yeah, 2014.
and blah.
From that
I went to Summer Jam. Saw him
they
perform.
obtained an old cell phone number belonging to
I think that was the same time Bobby
Quincy.
Schmurder had blew
He
up.
found out that Quincy's cell phone was at the Red Wolf Club that night Chinx lost his life. Not only that, the cell phone also pinned Quincy at being at the hookah bar Chinx and Yemen went to, and then at the crime scene, leading to detectives discovering that Quincy allegedly stalked, hunted, and sprayed Chinx's car with bullets so many times that he knew he would not survive. 32-year-old Quincy Homer was already locked up facing charges from the bank heist.
From that, we got Quincy's cell phone number and another cell phone that he was using. Sure enough, Quincy's number was at the scene where Chinx was in Brooklyn giving a concert.
Wow.
And up in Queens at the hookah bar
Hey, ooh.
and
I ain't gonna lie.
at the site.
Chinx was doing a lot of driving. That's a lot of driving.
Sure enough, Quincy's number
Wait a
was
minute.
at
I'm not even gonna lie. This right here, that's like, isn't like when you're in down. That's a lot of driving. From here all the way to
the
Queens,
scene where Chinx was in Brooklyn giving a concert.
Wow.
And
all the way up there. And then,
up in Queens at the
baby, after that concert, I would've went out to
bar
Matt's home.
and at the site.
So he was following him.
That's a lot of
He didn't
driving.
follow
That's
him.
a
They
lot of
hunted
driving.
Chinx down.
And the second suspect, 26-year-old Jamar Hill, who was already locked up on a 5-year sentence since May 2015 for a separate burglary, was also pinned down as the other person involved in Chinx's hit. It took approximately 2.5 years, but on December 14, 2017, detectives gathered enough evidence to arrest both men who were already locked up on charges connected to Chinx's hit.
Why did you do it?
Both suspects were charged for the hit. 1 attempt, assault, and 2 counts of possession of a weapon and pleaded not guilty and were held without bail. Homer also faced separate gun and dope possession charges from October 20 on the case in which he had stopped appearing in court. What's even more heartbreaking about this entire homicide is what the evidence uncovered. According to an NYPD official, it's alleged that the motive for the hit stems from a conflict that dated back nearly a decade. According to Lieutenant Richard Rudolph, commanding officer of the Queens South Homicide Squad, Quincy Homer, 32, and Jamar Hill, 26, hunted, carried out the hit due to a clash that took place while Chinx was incarcerated. According to Rudolph, Chinx and Homer fought each other on September 27, 2009, while both were housed on Rikers Island, and Quincy Homer probably got the worst of the beating and wanted revenge. Even more so when he saw Chinx's career.
From 2019 to 15, he must have whooped him bad. And he probably see him blowing up. He like, And since he's an expiring rapper, see, it be hatred in people's heart. I don't understand how people can carry that type of hatred. Like, y'all fought, and then you see him blowing up, and you just like, nah, like he not getting away with that. Like, that's some hatred right there. Like, you never know. You probably could have worked with Chinx if he was on that type of timing with you, like a decade ago, and y'all fought. That's what I'm saying. Like, people be blocking their blessings as well too, because you could have went up to Chinx and been like, yeah, we fought, da 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 da. You know what I'm saying? You beat me or whatever. Like, you want to still work. And if he not with that, then he not with that. But for you to take his life because he whooped you and he blowing up.
Was blowing up and not his. The feud would reignite years later when Homer showed up at Chinx's performance at Soundgarden Hall in Philadelphia on April 24, 2015. The two would get into a verbal altercation, which allegedly resulted in Homer being blacklisted from the other rap stars, which only enraged his jealousy and anger more on his quest for revenge.
Okay, I understand it now, but that's still no excuses. That's still no excuse for you to take somebody's life. But that's what I'm saying. It's hatred. He see Chinx blowing up. He see Chinx with these rappers. He see Chinx with the cadet. He's seeing this and he's like, nah, that's supposed to be me. And you already got into it with him a second time. They definitely not messing with you. But that's when you go on your own.
What can you tell me about Quincy?
Blow on your own.
He was an up-and-coming rapper himself. They were at a concert hall there in Philadelphia. He had words with Chinx. There was an old beef. He was upset about that.
The rest was history, leading to the hit of Chinx. Now that the suspects were apprehended, close friend and label boss, French Montana, recalled seeing Quincy Homer at Chinx's funeral.
And you really look at that Chinx was at the funeral.
This piece of information in itself nearly also resulted in another innocent man getting into trouble unprovoked. Fans and bloggers, reaching for any news to boost their fame, began searching for evidence. Quincy Homer was spotted at the funeral, and a series of photos began circulating with the alleged evidence. However, the person that's allegedly in the photos, with Chinx's hat on later, came out stating he was not Homer and urged persons to stop tagging him as the one.
I'm not gonna lie. I was about to say that's some sick stuff right there. That's sick. That's sick. That's sick. That's
responsible, as he was actually a close friend of Chinx. He was not Homer, but looked similar to him and went by the name Tana Street Heat on his social media platform. His Instagram now, Tana Street Heat TV. Things were spiraling out of control. Chinx was clearly loved, and persons were out to gather whatever evidence they could to smear his killer for all to see, while others were just out to ride the wave of fame, putting information, even if it could have gone terribly wrong, identifying the wrong person. Another piece of critical information that was also spread by some was that Jamar Hill passed away of a heart attack in 2018, but that was incorrect. The person who suffered a heart attack was a defense attorney of Jamar, who went by the name Duran Castro. Currently, the case is still underway. Both are looking at 25 to life if found guilty. In July 2018, one of the suspects, Jamar Hill, agreed to cooperate with authorities to enter into a plea deal. But to date, the case is still active.
It is? Wait,
why did you do it?
Why did you do it?
I thought he. You telling me they still didn't get sentenced? You're the. Wait, what? Not somebody said. I'm not even gonna read that. That's crazy. So they didn't get sentenced? What? What? It says, why was Sherry smirking at the beginning? Who's that? Someone like he should listen to his wife. He should have listened to his wife. She said, "Come." Well, he said he's coming straight home. Wait, who was smirking? Oh, her?
Boxed in by construction.
That shit is crazy. I ain't gonna lie, Chinx was definitely one of them artists that would have blew up. But jealousy and hatred go a long way. The fact that you hated that man that bad and because his people took his side is like you could have just made your own wave. Can't nobody really blackball people. You know what I'm saying? If you hot, you hot. But if you like this reaction, know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, and subscribe to that post notification bell on so you know when I bring a new video. And I'll see you in the next video.